Take two. Hey everybody, this is David.
And Katie.
Welcome to Production Diary number 4, Team Amazon for the IPD build-off. Here, last time we left you with the rear suspension in pieces, front suspension all ready to go. Waiting for parts, we started sanding, getting it down to bare metal, so that we can have it ready for paint in the next couple of weeks. Do you like my hover car?
I like your hover car.
So as we kept waiting for parts, I went over to Mako later this day and talked to the owner. And he said don't sand it down to bare metal just yet because you don't want to have rust on the surface until you can get it ready for paint. So it's best to do it all at once. And then finally, the glorious brown UPS truck arrives with Christmas presents. He's
a nice man.
He's the chattiest UPS driver ever.
He's playing loud rock and roll music.
That's the thing. Pizza, pizza. Alright, let's find out what's inside. First we have HD motor mounts. Heavy duty, high definition, Harley Davidson. Well, I hope it's not Harley Davidson. But they really don't tell you what the HD stands for. Anyways, next up is the brand new brake master cylinder. Takes a little bit more power to push without the vacuum booster, but it's fine by me. The old master cylinder didn't need any replacing, but you don't want to jeopardize any safety. So I went ahead and replaced it. And last but not least, the correct fitment of rear polyurethane bushings. These things are great. Yeah. Here's where we left the rear end last time, just bare bones in all of our pieces. Let's lay them out and line up those bushings, make sure we have everything we need for this kit. Everything looks good from here, and every order of polyurethane bushings you get from IPD is going to come with a little 5-ounce tube of the stickiest, gooeyest aqua lube. It is amazing, and it smells a little bit like CV grease, which is not so pleasant, but this stuff really works. You can see how stringy it is, and just strings on things. A word to the wise when you're installing the trailing rod bushings: remove that steel collar. It's just so much easier once that's out to get those bushings in. Otherwise you're going to try like I did, and I almost went to the vise for this, but save yourself a lot of trouble and just pull that out. They slide in perfectly, but the only problem you're going to have now is that these new bushings are a little bit wider and beefier. And so once you fit it in there, it's going to be really tight, really solid, but getting it in is kind of troublesome. I spent a lot of time on those trailing arms with those big round circle bushings. Here's some fast forward hammer action to show you how much effort it takes to get that in there. It's tiring even for Katie. You can see the size difference, how much bigger it is. It's going to make it a lot harder to fit in, but it's really worth it once it's in there. Here are all of our parts, painted and ready to go. Now you'll notice that later in the video you will see the rear sway bar and the suspension with the springs put all together. And I've skipped over all of the sway bar installation bits and the springs because I want to make a separate update for those. And I'll show you a how-to on that rear sway bar since there's quite a bit of modification involved in doing that.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, this piece right here is the one that I had the most trouble getting it to fit. I had to use vice grips and work around it, but eventually I got it to fit in. Now with the stainless steel brake line, you can see the sway bar there. I'll cover that next time. And a brief shot of the springs, but everything looks so much better put together than it used to
Really?
in the previous videos. Here's the old master cylinder alongside the new one. And I'll save you the trouble I went through to bleed the brakes. We'll just skip over all of that. And now we'll get to see the car back on the ground with the new springs. Although the springs are shorter, they're actually a lot stiffer. They're just generic eBay springs I got from a friend who had them on his 240. So I was hoping the car would sit a lot lower, but it actually sits a little bit higher. So we'll have some shots of the stock height where the car sat with the original springs. And then there's the new height, which is, like I said, about 1 inch taller. And the same thing for the rear. Here's the original height. And now the stiffer, shorter springs at their lowest setting, new height. And when I say lowest, I'll explain in the next video. Now, if you remember from my entry video, the amount of sway that the car had when I would rock the boat, it seems really kind of fluid and bouncy. And this one's a lot more stiffer and linear. All the new bushings and the suspension completely rebuilt. Here it is again, so you can get a better idea if you missed that first time. And then there's the driving test originally when I turned around this corner going about 25 miles an hour and then just do like a slalom but a lot narrower. And here with the new suspension you can see how stiff it is. The back actually kicks out a little bit there and actually kept a lot of speed. And it's so much stiffer, it handles a lot better instead of this school bus feel where it just leans. So next video, we'll see the rear sway bar, we'll see the springs. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, rate, comment, shop at IPD because they're a great company. And thank you for watching.
50 years IPD.